Look at this. This is called a false onion or a false sea onion, or sometimes called a pregnant onion. It isn't actually an onion or in the alliums. It is part of the Asparagiaceae family, so not an edible for humans. In fact, it's considered toxic to humans. Interestingly enough, Wikipedia says that it is a favorite snack food for the Chacma baboon. So how they can eat it, I don't know, but you're not supposed to eat them. It's just like a succulent plant, and this is a really sad specimen of it. These blades will get, good two inches wide, like an amaryllis would, and be thick and strappy and very succulent. But this went missing like a year ago, and I asked the girls about it because I had it tucked away in an area where customers wouldn't be, and they didn't know what in the world I was talking about. But when when Glenda cleaned the succulent area the other day, and I went to go water it, I found it. So it's been hiding amongst the succulent tables for the last year. So it hasn't been fertilized or watered, or it's been very neglected, right? But it's still happy. It's still alive because they're pretty tough. They can flower. They'll put up a flower stalk that has like 50 to 100 little white flowers on it that are supposed to be fragrant, although people that have had them bloom, like there's a guy in the UK that has a gorgeous one that he does a video of them on, and he says that his is not fragrant. So I don't know if the fragrance varies from plant to plant, but they're supposed to be fragrant. Mine's never bloomed or flowered that I was able to observe. I bought this a year or two ago as just a little green ball babies off of, I think, Etsy or something, and I sent me 3 or 5 of them, and then this one survived and this one survived, and the rest of these are babies that have come up. That's a new baby off of this one, or a new pup, and then look at all the little babies that it's sprouting up, and then it is shooting that right off of that outer layer. They do need like a shady area. If they get sun, too much sun, you'll get this scorching like I've got on mine. It's usually that color green that's under there, and you don't see a lot of that. So I think that's from where they moved it, and it was getting a little bit too much sun because it gets afternoon sun in the area that it was at. And I'm in Florida, so afternoon sun in like June, July, August is pretty intense and pretty long and pretty hot, and 80 degrees at 8 o'clock at night. So it needs some kind of shade. It is often, or most often, considered a houseplant, but it can be outside in zones 9A through 10B, and I'm in 9B, and I leave it outside. In fact, this thing went through a 27-degree cold winter, maybe 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, and it didn't kill it, so I'm surprised about that. There's a little adventitious bulblets that form, and you can see that one is just coming right off of there, and these are poking out. In fact, that one's trapped underneath this skin, and they do form layers just like onions do. So I guess that's where it gets its common name. And then I guess it will split that up and shed that skin or layer pretty soon. You need consistent watering, but like a succulent, treat it like a succulent, where you drench it thoroughly, but you allow the soil to dry out well between watering. So you don't want to keep it wet because it can rot it. It stays evergreen for me here in 9B, but in cooler areas they're supposed to go dormant, and then you can just store the dry bulbs over the winter. I don't have that problem. I just let it be, and it's fine. Oh, the sap is supposed to be, like, some people say that it'll have some medicinal sap in it, and then other people say that the sap can cause skin irritation. So I don't mess with it as far as like using it to treat insect bites or whatever. I don't really risk it if it says that it can cause irritation. I leave it well enough alone. But it is a cool little plant. I think it's more just like, oh, that's neat because it does that. And this is a sad specimen, And I'll try to link his video where you can see what this plant actually looks like when it hasn't been neglected or forgotten about for an entire year, because it's pretty cool. I went ahead and peeled that little layer off, and that's what they actually look like most of the time. Well, with bigger leaves.